And it is 10 o'clock, Thursday, June 24th, 2021. Time for the regular meeting of the Cabell County Commission, room 300, third floor, Cabell County Courthouse. And the first item on how we begin our business would be to please stand, and we'll have a prayer and the pledge. Most gracious and heavenly Lord, open our eyes to behold the beauty of your creation and all the blessings that you have given us. May we be guided by your Spirit in the ways of justice, truth, and peace. Grant that we may always prove ourselves a people mindful of your favor and glad to do your will. Save us from pride and arrogance, and give us wisdom to do that which is pleasing to you. We ask for your strength that we may faithfully serve the duties of our office to promote the well-being of all people. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda is to approve the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The agenda is approved. And we have a new ballpoint pen. Next would be to approve the minutes of the special commission meeting on January 6th, 2021, and a regular commission meeting on May 27, 2021.
So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next is to approve the erroneous assessments, land consolidation, split tickets, probate documentation from the county clerk's probate office.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next would be to approve the purchase orders, number 21-103902 through number 21-104172, and pay jackets, monthly payments to Fifth Third for fuel card purchases, handwritten checks to Unum for $7,567.65, and Guardian for $19,838.56.
Move to approve.
Been moved, seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Do we have any citizens registered to speak? And we have none. The next item then on the agenda, Mr. Moore with us?
I don't see him.
I don't see him. Riley Moore,
State treasurer.
or anybody from the treasurer's office?
He was supposed to be here as of yesterday.
I guess he was afraid the sheriff was going to get on him about.
David was downstairs waiting.
Maybe he's running behind.
We'll move that to the foot of the agenda to see if he appears. Leaving us with item number 21-06-24-152, resolution by the Cabell County Commission. Are you ready? Regarding the setting of a public hearing date with respect to the proposed increase in bonding capacity for the development district known as the County Commission of Cabell County Development District Number 2, Tanyard Station, the TIF district hereinafter, to facilitate the completion of the public infrastructure projects and improvement within the TIF district, the TIF project, as more particularly set forth in the tax increment financing application, the TIF application, for the TIF district submitted by Tanyard Station LLC. And I bet we have somebody to speak on that.
You do.
We do.
And I just got choked for some reason.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see everybody again. And I'm Brent Roswell, co-owner of Tanyard Station. actually brought my partner, he's in the back today, so he'll give him a little limelight, but, appreciate the opportunity to come and, to do the change in the application to increase the bonding amount. When the original, and this will help facilitate our phase two, which we hope to be breaking ground, hopefully by fall. We do have, as you know, we just got our schedule done for our steel delivery, and steel's out 48 weeks. So,
Wow.
I think everybody, you're probably hearing this before, but it's becoming a problem. So now basically, we would have already started, but with steel out 48 weeks, now it's a matter of, we don't want to start when we pour footers, our steel shows up, we don't want to be in the middle of winter. But hopefully by fall we start, next year we hope to be open. We're going to add in the phase two approximately over 200,000 more square feet, up in Barberville for Tanner Station, and this should complete Tanner Station. It's going a little slower than we wanted, but we did have COVID and other factors. But Menards Open's doing great. So we're here today, and we've got some folks that they want to come up. I'll let them give the details, but appreciate your consideration on the new application.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Carrie Cecil with Frost Brown Todd. I'm representing Tanyard Station in connection with the TIF district. We'd submitted, a PDF copy of the application, and as Brent said, it's solely intended to provide us flexibility to have a higher bonding capacity. We're not at this time requesting any bonds to be issued. This is just kind of starting the process for the application. It's about a 4-month process, so we'll see you several times as this goes on, and the resolution in front of you would simply set a public hearing date in August, so that the public can come and, voice their thoughts on the TIF district. The other thing I wanted to mention is, in November of 2019, we did have a reimbursement resolution put in place related to some of the cost overruns that are there. They're less than $1 million, $500,000. So this would give flexibility to fund a reserve fund eventually in the future. If some of the bonds are eventually held by a third party, it just gives us flexibility as we look at options. But how do you answer any questions?
I've got a question. I'm the sheriff. When does this end? Like, if you guys are coming back, July 1st in Cabell County and Huntington, West Virginia, there will be more non-taxed property than there is taxed. These districts keep coming and they just keep piling on, and some of these other people building things and doing things don't get tax breaks, and they pay taxes. So when does this end? Are you guys done at 15 million, or are you gonna come back with 20, or when does this end?
Well, this just sets the bonding capacity, so we're not asking for bonds to be issued in the amount of $15 million. A couple of things. This district was originally established in 2016. We're not extending the life of it, so it's 30 years from that date in 2016. Also, it's only the regular levy portion of the taxes that are allocated to the public improvements that are paid for with the TIF. So the special levy, bond levies, anything that you have in the county, that portion still goes to the levying bodies as it would otherwise. So we're not extending the district, we're not doing any of that. And the payoff date, right now we do have a scenario, it's just an estimate. The payoff date with the increase in bonds that we anticipate, although it's not certain, would still pay off at the exact same time that the current bonds would, with the additional development that they have planned.
Probably nobody in this room will be alive when it happens.
I would like to say on this too, the Tanner Station's not there if it wasn't for the TIF. The 10+ million that was spent was all on public improvements. And you would not have Menards there, you would not have Aldi, that would be the CSX stockyard, and it would not happen without the TIF. There's no way. And and Menards brings in a lot of jobs, there's a lot of sales.
I agree with that 100%. I do.
I think it's important to know though, it's for public improvement, it's not for the developer But it-
Bottom line, that money comes off the tax rolls. And that's the concern. We're getting ready in West Virginia, they're probably gonna put it on the ballot to take away personal property and the business. That's gonna take another $9 million off of Cabot County's back that we use to pay people to keep jobs going, to keep things going in this county. And I don't know where it stops. That's my question. Where does this
The
stop?
tax that was being paid on that property is still being paid. We're just on the increment above. So, I mean, I think it's to understand that we've not taken the tax that was already there, and we've added a couple hundred jobs. And we've added, with Menards sale, we'll see what their sales in the PF, and then their probably store average is 50+ million in sales. So, I think it's.
I don't dispute that at all. I'm just saying that somewhere these people, I mean, us, that the school board and the people that get the tax. on some of this
I do
stuff.
want to correct something with respect to the school board. The school aid formula does take that into account, so
true.
the school board is fully made whole.
They are.
Yeah.
That's true.
Maybe we
I'm done.
need to have
Good question.
a county aid formula to keep us whole.
I don't know how you afford to build right now with the cost of building material.
Well, we just did we're doing a Texas Roadhouse right now. A contractor just did Clinton, Tennessee, and Bristol, where we're building it. And we're talking about, he finished this week, he came the next week to start. Texas Roadhouse is approximately 6,000 square feet, $250,000 higher from the one he just finished to the one we got. And one of the tenants in Tanger Station that's coming, 2 months ago, their contractor estimate was X. It's 800,000 higher in 2 months. So we want to get this going and get it set, started, and built. You know, we're also building in downtown Huntington here, the old Burger King lot. We had residential planned. When the contractor's price came in, it was double what the budget was. So now, up here in Huntington, we're doing the 4 retail, but we've cut the residential off the top, can't afford to build it. But you're right, it's a major concern. And steel, lumber, but the tenants we're doing at Tanger are national tenants, they have national accounts. They're new to the market, that we're not taking a tenant from somewhere else and putting them up there. There's one tenant that's coming from someplace else, but he's going into a grander, double the size of this building. But for the most part, 90% of these are new tenants coming from nationals. They're not in Huntington in this market.
I move we set a hearing date. Would our next meeting be okay in 2 weeks?
Actually, we have to wait, there's a 30-day statutory period,
Okay.
so it'll be August 12th is what's proposed in the resolution.
When's our next meeting?
July.
What about the first meeting in August? Do we know?
Well, are you setting it at the 12th? That's what you're anticipating?
Yeah.
The next meeting is July 8th, I'm sorry.
What about
And then there's
August?
July 22nd, and then August 12th is.
August 12th, okay. Then I move we set a hearing date for August 12th.
Do you have a second? I'll second that then. Discussion? Vote on the resolution? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution passes.
Thank you all very much.
We'll see you again on the 12th.
We'll see you on the 12th. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Guess we'll back up at this point to have a presentation by the Honorable Riley Moore, West Virginia State Treasurer.
Y'all want me to stand over here?
Anywhere
You may
want.
stand any
Okay.
place you like.
All right.
The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Hi there, Riley Moore, State Treasurer. It's great to be here again in Cabot County. Always good to see my former House of Delegates colleague, Kelly Sabonia, now Commissioner Sabonia. And I'm just really happy to be here to talk to you all about a couple programs that we have going on. I just wanted to highlight for not only your constituents, but folks that you might interact with throughout the state. So first and foremost, a really exciting program that we got passed in the legislature and I ran on. And it's really interesting, especially for Calhoun County, given this aviation maintenance program that they're doing up here in Marshall, and we've talked to Mount West about it as well. It's called the Jump Start Savings Plan. So the Jump Start Savings Plan is, you all are probably familiar with the college savings plan, the 529 college savings account. So we got to thinking, what can we do for people in trades and vocations? What can we do for them that will help further their career and save money for their career the same way people save for college? You come out of college and you're using your 529 for those educational credits that you're going to buy. There's not a lot of requirements post that, computers and books, things like that. If you're a mechanic, you got to buy all your own tools, all your own equipment. The requirements to entry to success in those type of fields are a lot different. So what we've started is the Jumpstart Savings Program, and these dollars saved, which will be invested just like a college savings plan, are for after graduation. After graduation from a trade, technical, or community college, for them to buy, and these are the qualified expenses that we have: tools, equipment, licenses, certifications, and also, and this is a very important one, new business startup costs. So let's say you went to beautician school and you're going to open up a salon. You could use that to pay for the expenses such as chairs and scissors and blow dryers and things of that nature. Also, you could use that to start paying the lease on a building. If you wanted to shift over to more of the trades, I used to be a welder, so that's kind of how I thought about this, is if I wanted to start my own mobile welding business. So at one point I was working in a mining operation out in the eastern area. We don't have coal, we have trapped rock, so it's a little bit different. It's like open pit mine. And I wanted to go around and maintenance different mining equipment, and it was really cost prohibitive. So an individual now coming out of trade school would be able to start one of these accounts, and they have to start it before they graduate, before graduation, but the account stays open in perpetuity, stays open forever. So it can be 10, 20, 30 years, however long it takes you to achieve your goal, your career objective, and you can use those dollars on equipment, licenses, certification, new business startup costs. So for me, I could have bought a truck, oxyacetylene cutting torch, a big welder, all of those things, and those dollars grow in terms of the capital gains the same way they do for College 529. Where it is uniquely different is you can deduct up to $25,000 off your income tax, federally adjusted gross income. Here in the state of West Virginia, $25,000 is your max deduction. So if you make $75,000 in a year, you take the $25,000 deduction, now you're only paying $50,000 worth of income taxes. Every year you can take that deduction. So then the money goes in, it's invested either aggressively or you want to be more conservative, depends on what you want to do, just like in a college savings plan. And the money grows, and you don't pay the capital gains tax here in the state on that money. Then as the money comes out, you get another $25,000 deduction on your income tax. Every year, that's the max you can take. So as you take that money out, you get another tax savings. Now, one of the things that's unique to this program as well, and it's actually unique to the country, it doesn't exist anywhere else in the U.S. This is in West Virginia first. It's first in America, and we've had a lot of interest from states like Ohio and Kentucky and some others wanting to come into this program. Is you can take your college savings money, and let's say you didn't use college to the extent you didn't graduate, you didn't use all your dollars. You can roll over tax-free those dollars into a Jumpstart savings plan. And now let's say for some reason you were injured on the job site, you became legally disabled. We have a program that we administer, a federal program called West Virginia Able. And you could roll over your Jumpstart program into a West Virginia Able account, which allows you to save money tax-free to be able to pay for the various items and requirements for folks living with disabilities, which can be expensive. So it's a real exciting program. It's going to start next year, is when we're going to start signing people up. Urge your constituents to take a look at it. It's a real exciting opportunity. A couple other things I want to talk to you about. Another bill that we passed that directly affects you all is the e-pay bill. Every political subdivision in the state of West Virginia, starting in 2023, is going to have an online payment option. Now, I assume you all probably have one, but here's the good news. We have a portal that you can use, and this portal is offered by us free of charge. We have a merchant service contract with Huntington Bank, 1.7% processing interest, processing fee on that. It's as low as you're going to find out there. We're trying to bring everybody under the same contract because bigger the pool, lower the rates. You all get that, right? So I think it's going to be a great opportunity for us to provide convenience to the different constituencies that have to utilize courthouses for paying fines, fees, taxes, things of that nature. And it's going to be every political subdivision, so state agencies, that includes the DMV, towns, municipalities, counties will all have an online payment portal. There's many counties in the state of West Virginia that do not. And there's some counties, like Kanawha County, if you want to pay your property taxes, you can do that online, but it's a $50 processing fee, so nobody uses it. So we're just trying to bring everybody under one. Now look, if you love coming to this beautiful courthouse and you want to pay in person, you can still pay in person, that's no problem. So that's out there, and that's 2023 when that comes on. And if you all are interested in our merchant service contract or using our payment portal, just reach out to our office and we'll talk to you all about it. Last thing is, all of your employees are eligible for the 457, which is a 401k supplemental plan. I'd urge all of you to take a look at that. It's supplemental to your pension, to your employees' pensions. And it's good to have an additional nest egg out there when you're looking to retire at some point. So the 457 is something you want to try to take a look at. We got David Tyson back here who can sign you up for it. He's working on all that. And last thing is unclaimed property. We have an online database now that y'all can use. You can literally type your name in, look for unclaimed property, and go through our office. And David here will help walk you through those steps and those processes in terms of getting your money. You never know what's out there, I'm telling you. We just did one in Charlestown, West Virginia, Jefferson County, and there was an estate that settled out and individual passed away. They didn't even realize there was a savings account out there. And nobody had acted on it, so it came over to my office. It's $50,000 just sitting there. And so we had to cut somebody a $50,000 check. You just never know what's out there. You never know. So urge you to take a look at that online database that we have. And you can go to wvtreasury.com and just click on the unclaimed property link. And you can search it in there. I mean, you can search your family members too, whoever you want. It's pretty easy and convenient. Last thing I'd mention to you is we've been getting a lot of media coverage about this and some pushback, and you'll see more about this in the future. Is we're in a big fight right now as it relates to banking and the fossil fuel industry. Why that is important to you all, every county gets severance tax, right? Every county gets severance tax in West Virginia. Even Jefferson County, where I'm from, where they don't have any coal or gas anywhere near them, everybody gets severance tax. The Biden administration right now is putting pressure on banks and lending institutions in this country to get them to divest from all fossil fuels, coal, gas, oil. Coal is at the top of the list of that, and John Kerry is working with, in concert with his folks to get the Googles and Facebooks and these big investors in these banks to divest from a bank who deals in fossil fuels currently, who currently lends to them. And through that, if he's able to get what he wants and to have them stop lending money to coal companies, to natural gas industry, it will cut them off at the knees financially. And this would be catastrophic for our state. This would be absolutely terrible. So what we are doing, we formed a coalition with 14 other state treasurers from around the country and sent a letter to them and said, if this is what banks are going to do, then we're going to start looking at banking contracts. Y'all are managing billions of dollars of our tax money, which includes severance tax, and we're gonna start taking a look at those banking contracts, because I don't think it's fair for West Virginians to be giving their money to a bank that's diametrically opposed to their industries, to our way of life, to our economy. So we're gonna be fighting back pretty hard on this, and you're gonna see some more on this probably in the near future. And they want everyone to get into green energy, and that's fine. If that's what a bank wants to do, they want to loan green energy, that's fine. All I'm asking for is the free market to remain free. That's it. If a bank wants to make an assessment that a loan's too risky, that's fine. Don't do it. But to make political statements as it relates to industries that are important to a state like West Virginia because you think it's immoral or bad or things like that, well, I can't have that. I can't have those people handling our dollars. So you'll see a lot more of that in the future. So I just want to put that on your radar because that would affect Cabell County and every county in the state of West Virginia. So we're working pretty hard on that. You'll see something here in the very near future on it. But those are all my talking points, and I can hold for any questions.
I have an important question.
Yes.
How are the children?
They're great. They're doing really good. Yeah, the girls are good. We're got them over there in Charleston. Wish I had them over here, but the Constitution won't let me live here. I drove by Ritter Park on the way here. I'm like, oh, this place is great. But no, it's we're doing very well. Girls are doing great. They're getting big. Starting to talk back. So.
Oh, it's just beginning.
Yeah, it's just beginning. We got opinions now. So.
Does the treasurer, like the governor, required to live at the seat of government?
Yes, yes, yes. I am required to live in the seat of government. I really like Huntington a lot. I love Cabell County, and I had my choice if I'd go over here, but I don't.
You can visit. You can visit and spend your money.
Yeah, visit, spend my money. My wife and I come over here though. I mean, you all got great restaurants. I mean, it's downtown here. I mean, just the revitalization of that over the last however many years just looks great. Looks tremendous. So hats off to you all. Good job. And you got a great mall in Barbersville, so let's beat that. So. Any other questions?
Your field man found in the unclaimed property about $25,000 for an Episcopal church that no longer is in business as the church, and I think he's working on getting the money returned. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Yeah. See, that's why I got to check. You never know. You never know. We got 3 million pieces of unclaimed property just sitting out there. So it's a lot of money.
What happens when nobody claims them
We hold it in perpetuity.
forever?
Yes.
If it's your savings account, it just stays in the savings account, or does it stay with you?
It stays with us. Stays with us. So if it's a safety deposit box, it's not been acted on in a certain amount of years, the bank is going to say, well, we don't know what's happened. They'll liquidate that sometimes. Typically, they'll liquidate it and then we hold those funds. But you never lose your money. We always have it. We always have the money, and that's why we're working hard to make sure we return it to people. Life insurance policies, that's a big one. Sometimes you never know if you were a beneficiary, perhaps, to life insurance policy. So take a look. You never know.
Sure.
Real quick, on the 1.7, going back to the initial, that's basically what your credit card company would be charging, but you're charging the 1.7, correct?
Yes, that's our emergency service.
Does the whole county have to do it, or could part of the county do it? Where I'm going, I run EMS. I like to be able to take cards. They're charging, I think, 3-point-something% if I take a card.
Oh no, you could take a card at this 1.7.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes.
But can just EMS do it, or does the whole county have to do it?
Well, I mean, it's based on one of the subdivisions, right? So
I'm directly responsible. They're responsible for me.
you're gonna have to ask them then. But it's, we're offering this thing, and I think it's a tremendous benefit.
It is.
Yeah, I think it's really gonna help folks. And just remember, we have a payment portal, so you don't need to come up with anything. We have a portal, you just link to it, and we'll set it up for you. Our cash management division will handle all that.
I have to approach the
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you like the job well enough to run again?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, it's been treating me well so far. We had a real exciting and successful legislative session. We had 9 bills passed in my first year, and I think we're gonna have probably equal amount the next one. So we're looking to just modernize the office, modernize the way we're doing business here in West Virginia. The Chief Financial Officer of the state, we're just trying to make it a more hospitable environment for banking industry and also state government to be able to do what you all need to do in counties and towns, municipalities. So there's a lot of things, kind of low-hanging fruit. This merchant service contract, the online payment thing is just one of those. Eastern Panhandle is a great example. We get folks moved in there and they can't pay online. They're like, what is this? I don't understand. Why would they come to Jefferson a few years ago and you couldn't pay online anything. Most of these people work in Maryland, Virginia and all that, and they don't have time to go to the courthouse. So yeah, it's just one of our modernization programs. We're also going to do a banking overhaul, make us more competitive here in the state. Not just this state, but we want to be more competitive regionally. So we got a lot of exciting things coming. So.
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
The sheriff earlier was lamenting the fact of the low interest rates that we're getting on our deposits with our banks. It's like a point, what is it? One. Is there a program that you have that
Yes.
can move the money from the banks to you?
Yes.
Get a higher rate?
Yeah, yes. So you can deposit with us what's called the Board of Treasury Investment or money market pool. We typically, we do perform typically better than the banks in deposits. So,
Yeah, we
David,
just- we
make sure
just-
you talk to them on
Yeah,
that.
we're doing, Jordan and I are talking to the sheriff about that right now.
Okay.
So that was
Say,
perfect timing.
We had met with the bank the bank yesterday, and we actually brought that up to them.
You heard his ass.
And so he was wanting to talk to you about that. So
Yeah.
That's why I wanted him to get in here.
People outside.
Yeah, we get a little better rate of return. Just, same thing, look, we got a bigger pool, and it's a lot of money in there that we're managing, so we get a better return. than-
And maybe it'd be possible just to flip part of it, and not everything,
Mhm.
maybe just.
I mean, it depends how y'all want to, what you want to do.
We said we can wire transfer it back and forth, so we
That's what I thought
may
they said.
have a base here and have it up there and move it back and forth.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's not a problem. Yeah, we're here to help you all.
And your rate is?
Our rating on our money market pool, we're top rated, we're AAA. Standards and Poor's AAA, is not a high rating in the country.
I think he was maybe asking what is the rate of.
Oh, the return, yeah, sorry. Rate of
The other's important too.
Yeah, the other's important too. Right now, rates have kind of dipped, right, because we're a little bit in fixed incomes like everybody else in these deposits. So, I mean, we're about, last time I looked at it, close, I think we're over 1%, something like that. So, I mean,
Yeah, we just got whacked a point.
yeah, I mean, I think we rolled back a little bit there. I mean, just with what's going on in the economy way outside of our control. I think we're dipping 0.7, about 70 basis points. But yeah, we typically outpace the banks in terms of deposits.
That's good.
And that's actually one of the things we're trying to help the banks with. And part of that is their collateralization requirement on deposits. West Virginia has a huge collateralization requirement. It's 110% collateralization requirement for deposits. So that kind of hurts them. And every other state that is near us, whether it's North Carolina, Virginia, wherever, it's lower than that. And that's one of the things we want to address in legislation so we make our banks more competitive.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. All right.
That do it? Thank you.
Very good. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Good seeing you.
Kelly, good seeing you.
Well, moving along, next item of business then would be item number 21-06-24-153, West Virginia Compensation Risk Pool, West Virginia Corp., other name, General Liability and Workers' Compensation Policy Renewal.
That's just what it says, it's our liability and our workers' compensation renewed. And as the, this pool, they were here last meeting, they did talk about our experience on our workers' comp and made our, log go up, our E-log go up, so our workers' comp did increase quite a bit. So, our total for everything is $1,312,000. Liability and workers' comp. It's paid quarterly, so.
Right.
A lot of things with that, and unfortunately, I'm probably,
You're a culprit.
I'm a big culprit, to be very honest with you. And the business we're in causes a lot of problems, but I don't know if it was COVID or not, but we had two individuals which were off an extended amount of time. One was for 2 fingers, off over a year or something, and one was to have ACL replaced, and it was over a year. I'm not trying to be mean, but we didn't do a very good job on handling the cases. I'm really not happy with it.
Yeah, we have discussions, usually monthly with the risk pool.
We're gonna start them again.
And we talked, and of course Gordon and EMS, they work really well with them on all the training and, risk
Absolutely.
enhancements, things that they do. But like you said, it is kind of just the nature of the beast there. But one of the problems that Steve keeps mentioning to the pool is, it seems like our medical community here doesn't really help us get people back. And that's something we really struggle with, and we don't know how to combat that side of it, so.
We encourage our employees to use the nurse and as the patient advocate, and it does work well. But I don't know if it's just the last year, everything everyone had endured that they put off. But it's, unfortunately, we deal with very unusual situations that they tell you gotta lift a certain way, but when you have a 300-400-pound person stuck between the toilet and the bathtub, you gotta do the best you can. To give you an idea, the other day, we moved a 1,200-pound patient.
Wow.
1,200.
Human being, I guess, not a horse or
A human. Unbelievable. They transferred them in a U-Haul, literally, and we had to get them out of that onto a bed at the hospital so they could get them in. Unbelievable. And what do you do to keep from workman's comp on that?
Yeah, it's, Beth says, though, as I recall, way back when, one of the holdups was the doctors kept saying, okay, you can't go back to work,
That's right.
And obviously that contributes to our EMOD being up there.
Yeah.
And we're trying, and the sad thing is the people want to go back to work. I've got one right now he can't get a CT scan in a timely manner. He needs that to clear him so he can come back to work. And he wants to come back to work. And I have him on light duty, which is a program that they encourage us to do to lower the cost. And it's working, but it's frustrating that we can't get these things done in a timely manner. That's simple.
Are there certain healthcare providers that are, taking their time more so than
Have to
others?
say they all are.
Do we need to move the approval of this?
Yes,
I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the renewal of the policy with West Virginia Community Risk Pools. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes. Item number 21-06-24-154 is a letter from Irv Johnson, Cabell County Assessor, regarding employment of Cassandra Tabor to full-time employee. Have a motion?
Move to approve.
I
Been
second.
moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes. Item number 2106241155, letter from Sean Corky Hammers, Cabell County Prosecutor, for employment of Robert Copley, full-time investigator.
Move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That passes. Item number 2106241156, letter from Chuck Zirkle, Cabell County Sheriff, employment of Robert McQuaid as a full-time security officer.
Move to approve.
Been moved and seconded by me. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next is a resolution from Cabell County Commission regarding employment of Micah Spinalgo Mullinex, per diem critical care paramedic, Jimmy Wayne Forrest, full-time advanced EMT, and Jacob Seth Wheeler, full-time EMT. Reclassification of James Matthew Abbas to per diem EMT, and Quentin Yates to full-time advanced EMT.
I move to approve.
I will second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item number 210624-158, approval of senior levy funding regarding World Changers of Huntington.
I move we give the World Changers of Huntington $5,000.
Did
For
there
the
somebody
program.
here? Did you
We've
want-
given them money every year since I've been here, and I think it's been around $2,000, but I would suggest we give them $5,000.
Did you want to say anything?
Well, okay.
Can you state
Monty
your
Fulton, Grand Boulevard.
Tell us who you are.
You just did.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay.
Monty Fulton.
Yeah.
Grand Boulevard, Huntington. And, yeah, we've gotten maybe $3,000 even in the past. The last grant we got, we returned because we didn't do any projects last year. And we felt it was pretty unfair to keep the money and then not do anything. And this year, World Changers National Organization has gone through some changes and things. And, you know, like everybody else, COVID caused us problems. They didn't do any projects last year. And new owners have taken over the whole program. And there were no school buildings available because the county apparently did a larger summer school program. And with COVID, they didn't want strange people coming in, whatever. So we ended up at the old Holland Elementary where I started school back in 1952. And from there, we have to bring in 2 shower trailers. We have 220 volunteers coming in with 2 8-stall shower trailers to take care of them. It'll only take a steady progression of about 5 hours to get them all cleaned up in 10 minutes. But we had to get, the city was buying one of these shower trailers, renting. We have to rent the other one. And there's additional costs and expenses, and that's why the larger amount. And I think one time and next year we should be back up and running in good shape.
It says here that the city's providing $20,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that goes towards building materials only. You have to develop the block grant, and they have always done that.
Yeah, they've always provided the building materials
Yeah.
through their
Or-
community
or
block grant.
Groups, organizations, churches have provided funds to get members or others outside the city limits, homes worked on. We've done roofs in the past, siding, storm windows, handicap ramps, all kinds of stuff. And with regulations, OSHA stepping in, you know, you've got to be over 18 years old to get above a 6-foot step ladder, and all kinds of stuff. So it's limiting the work we can do. But we got 220 coming in, and many of these groups have been here 5, 6, and 7 times, coming back to Huntington each summer, spend a week working on homes.
It says housing in your information
Yeah.
through the Cabell County Schools would be $5,600.
Mhm.
Is that something that the schools could kick in and not charge
They're
you?
basically giving us the school, but we've got to pay towards employees. And that's one of the reasons for the cost of the meals being high. They're looking like a big number. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think it's an excellent program.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been involved in it here in Huntington since 2000.
How does somebody apply to have work done on their home?
Big new house, basement, city
Right,
hall.
yeah.
And they're still taking applications. You know, we didn't know we were gonna have a project until January this year. Usually we've got 12 months to work and fundraise and all kinds of stuff. And we weren't sure we were gonna have, and it's been touch and go several times even since then. But, and there are other groups coming in, they're still taking applications. If you know folks that need work on their homes, there's other groups coming in.
Thank you.
This,
Okay.
right.
You made a motion, right?
Yeah, I have a motion.
Motion for $5,000. I have a question. Where would this money come from?
Seniors.
Senior levy.
Senior
That's
levy.
what
Senior levy?
Yeah, it's senior levy money.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion's been moved and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. As I would understand, the senior levy and the spending therefrom, this would not necessarily preclude another grant, assuming everything fell through and they would ask for more money at any rate. It's just a little aside from me, I guess.
I have a question, like when would this be available for them, because it's coming up? And that's the reason why I put it on the agenda apart, and we usually, approve all of the senior requests at the same time. But because it's timely, when would that be available?
So, the next commission meeting, Marie will put do a letter after this one to notify them of the amount they were approved for, and then Sandy will put a requisition in based on that. So it'll be on the next commission meeting. So it'll be available that Friday. Right? That Friday.
Next item is 210624-158. No, it's not. 159. Executive session regarding personnel and the opioid litigation. And the question would be, is there a motion to do that?
I move we go into executive session to discuss personnel and opioid litigation.
I will second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The executive session will be in here. Those of you who do not have reason to be in the executive session will excuse us. We'll let you know when we're ready. Do we have a motion?
I move we return to regular session from executive session where there is no action taken.
Second.
Well, we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The next item of business then is to place on record minutes to be recorded. Salt Rock Public Service District Progress Meeting, May 10, 2021. Salt Rock Public Service District Regular Meeting, May 11, 2021. Pea Ridge Public Service District Regular Meeting, April 12, 2021. Additional documents to be recorded, Pea Ridge Public Service District Manager's Report and Field Report from April 2021. Pea Ridge Public Service District General Ledger Balance and Income Statements for period 10, year ending 2021.
So moved.
Been moved that these be placed on record.
I'll second.
Seconded, and all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's that.
Sounds good to me.
need to adjourn?
You have
We
commissioners'
we've adjourned
representation.
as of the signing of the record.
Yeah, it's right here. We're not done with the agenda.
Oh, you want to say something? Commissioners?
Well, I'd just like to thank.
Report,
I would
good
like to
and
thank
welfare.
the legislature for, and the governor for putting on the special agenda, for the special session of the agenda to give us another reprieve on the increase of per diem costs for regional jails. They're supposed to take that up today, as we all know, and I just want to go on record as being thankful for that. And hopefully we can come to a long-term resolution and have a dialogue about the bonds being paid off from the regional jails, that we can capture that money and at least have some savings on that. And then also have I guess it's a question for maybe, I don't know, our council or Beth, but do we have to have put on the agenda for us to be able to report our American Rescue Plan Act revenue? I think we got $18 million close to it from the federal government to spend on infrastructure. Would we need to participate in the state auditor's program for open checkbook for that revenue, pot of revenue? Would we have to have it on the agenda to have a vote, or how do we participate in that?
He said we didn't have to participate in that.
But if we wanted to, how would we
I would
participate?
think you would put it on the agenda and vote to the commission speaks as a body. So-
But you're putting your staff through a lot of extra work, having to deal with the state, and this way, based on the condition of getting the money, we don't have to deal with the state. We deal directly with the federal government. And the auditor agreed with me on that in a public meeting.
Well, I think a lot of counties are signing up for it. I know, like Upshur County and several others
Well,
have.
they might be, I'm not saying that they're not, we're one of the bigger counties, and it would require a lot of extra work in order to go through, he wants us to go through his software and his everything and do a report every month to him. And the federal government said that the state was not to be involved, it was directly between us and them. So I don't see the point.
Do we need to have any federal government approval as to how we handle it? Not what we do with it and that kind of thing, but whether the reports that we make and all that sort of thing, we know that or don't know that?
They have given us the guidelines on how we report. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yes, they've given us that.
Which is what the auditor's office was saying they would do, not?
No, he wants an additional step.
That would be
Through
additional.
the state.
That's why I was saying it would require extra work.
I think 24 counties participate in Open Checkbook for all their revenue and expenditures, and it's in real time where people can, the entire state of West Virginia participates in Open Checkbook, where the citizens, which it's their money, can go in real time and see how their elected officials are spending their money. And so this wouldn't put our entire county revenue and expenditures on Open Checkbook. It's just for this particular pot of money. So it would have to be on the agenda for us to approve or disapprove,
I think so.
to participate.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
We would also need to have a meeting to discuss how we're going to spend the money.
Yes, that's true.
I think that's the most important thing right now.
Federal doesn't tell you
We ought to do that first.
how you spend it.
I think all that has to happen first.
Yeah.
And, we've got until 2024 to spend the money.
Right.
I'm not sure we have to make a decision on how to spend it all at one time.
No, I agree with that.
And I think there'll be things come up that we might want to spend the money for. And of course, I agree with the sheriff. I think we need to take care of our own issues as far as cost as much as we can with this money. I know there'll be things that we're not allowed to use it for, but everything that we can, I think that's what we ought to do with it before we start giving it out to.
Is that something Mrs. Davis has to keep track of? Sandy? I mean, I guess, like, that's in a separate account and we know what we're doing.
Right.
what we're spending and all that.
Right,
Yeah.
it's a separate budget, a separate account, everything.
They would, in the tax office, you know, when they give you all your banks, she reconciles the bank every month, she would reconcile that, we'll give you all copies of that, too, of everything that went in or out.
And the money's just sitting over there now, right?
It is.
Just half of it.
Yeah, well,
We don't get the rest of
only
it.
8 million instead of, or 9 or whatever it is.
Instead of the eight, almost 18.
Right.
Like the sheriff said, those towers, you know, the
Oh, yeah.
upgrade of that, that's.
I've heard that forever, that they
Yeah.
can't talk to each other.
Yeah, it's a problem. And a costly one, so that would be a good way to get that done.
And that's infrastructure.
Now, we can go ahead and reimburse general county for any lost revenue, and I know we can document the lost revenue on the hotel motel tax for the, it'd be like the last half of the previous fiscal year, and the first half of the one before that, you know,
Right.
because of the way COVID fell. So, and then the way the guidelines, I read them, and Ansel and Manchin's office, both all have said, when it's something like that, if lost revenue that you are putting back into your general county budget, then there aren't any guidelines, it's your revenue, putting back into your budget, so you can do with it what you want.
That sounds like a wonderful thing to do.
And I know Wood County's already done some of those things, and I've got to call into their administrator to discuss some of that with them.
Yeah, I've had a call for more fire hydrants.
Well, the PSDs want more money than we're getting.
Yeah.
I don't know how I've quite stepped into the middle of, what's his name, that complains about the fire hydrants. Pete Vaughn swears there's a fire hydrant on Fairfax that does not work. And the people who work on them say it doesn't work, and the fire department says it does work.
Well, they're the ones that need to use it, so they should.
Well, I think I'd deal with the water company on that one. If I were them.
He's tried, and they've.
He's not getting any rain.
No, they've said they've tried their best to open it without tearing the thing up, and it will not open. So I
It
don't know.
might be a good idea to put a new one in.
Well, he says that they have, they lost a house because they hooked up to that hydrant evidently to go someplace, and it didn't work, and then they had to go around some other way. Anyhow.
Now, you'd think now that they know about it, though, they would do something to fix it or replace it, or,
Well, yeah, you would, wouldn't you?
I mean, I would think that's what the water company would do.
Yeah. There's, I guess that I understand, there's a team of the water company or the fire department or somebody that goes around and checks them all to be sure they do work.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do that periodically.
Yeah.
Well, why would the fire department say it doesn't work if they couldn't use it for fire? That's odd.
I don't know. Having heard that discussion, I guess our meeting is over.
All right.